Education Secretary Sonny Angara met with PNP Chief General Nicolas Torre III to address rising violence in schools, including enhanced police presence and first responder training. The meeting also tackled the threat of new People's Army recruitment in educational institutions. President Marcos has ordered agencies to investigate recent violent incidents and enforce child protection policies. The Department of Education is also considering creating a crisis management committee to respond more effectively to school violence. Officials emphasize the crucial role of parents, noting that open communication at home and active community involvement are key to preventing and addressing these incidents. Now, to give us his insights on the matter, we have Pasig City Representative Romulo, who chairs the House Committee on Basic Education and Culture. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Congressman. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Gretchen, and to those listening and viewing your show, good morning po sa ating lahat. Again, Gretchen, I was listening to you. That is correct. Very important is the family, the community participating. So I think the schools, the barangays should be able to reach out to the parents and to the community. Also important is the police presence. But again, Gretchen, I think we should also give, there are new rules now to the anti-bullying or violence things that are happening in our schools. There are new implementing rules and regulations. I think that the Department of Education should really focus also on this because first, sometimes it starts with the small things. So the new IRR is good because it expands the definition of bullying to include not only physical presence or school activities, but also now includes those that are used through social media. Because sometimes it starts with the small things, so that's a good expansion. The second thing in the new IR, which they should focus on, is finally they've realized that it cannot be through a committee always. Because if it is through a committee, it takes some time to get all the members together. So it's good that now under the new IRR, they are really authorizing, empowering the teacher first to be able to identify red flags immediately, to pass it on to a discipline officer, which is different from a guidance counselor, and then to the principal eventually, if the need so arises.
Okay. Actually, marami po ko itatanong tungkol dyan sa bagong IRR. Pero unahin ko lang po muna yung item before we talk. Ito pong violence in schools, meron pong recent reports of that happening on August 7, a shooting in Nueva Ecija. An 18-year-old boy shot his 15-year-old ex-girlfriend inside the classroom. At yung pangalawa naman, in Midsayap, Cotabato, August 12, where a principal was shot. Are you seeing an alarming trend, or are these isolated incidents?
Well, it is an alarming trend. In fact, Gretchen, this is not. We should not be surprised because this has been happening the past few years, maybe in different forms, Pero maybe it is just now that because of social media, also because of media, that it's starting to come out. That is why, if you recall, Gretchen, we passed a new law about 3 years ago, institutionalizing as a subject good manners and right conduct from the early age and all the way up to grade 12. But up to last year, what the Department of Education did was just to pilot it in 35 schools out of the more or less 30,000+ elementary, key stage 1 elementary schools. So hopefully this year they committed that they will be implementing it fully in all key stage 1, meaning grades 1 to 3. Because importante talaga, Gretchen, sa totoo lang, it all starts from the little things. So kung medyo yung moral fiber ay medyo naapektuhan na, talagang a small infraction now, if it is passed as okay lang, pwede na yan. And then it doubles and it triples and there's a multiplier effect. That is why they must nip it at the bud now. But of course, hindi na enough lang yung pag-introduce ng GMRC and values education under the law. But again, kailangan talaga gamitin rin nila yung lifelong learning to be able to reach out to the parents, to tell them that it all starts in the homes, in the communities.
Correct.
And then, yung bagong IRR nila, which I think they should really focus on.
Okay, ito pong 35,000 schools na nabanggit po ninyo, ito po ay public schools. Ibig sabihin, dun
DepEd
po sa
schools
kanila
po.
wala pang GMRC na institutionalized?
What ang ginawa, what DepEd did last year, last academic calendar, sa 35 schools lang nila pinilot. Imagine, in fact, we have 47,000 DepEd schools. Pero yung sabihin natin may key stage 1 is about, I think, 35,000 or somewhere about, baka mali ako, 25 or 35,000. But imagine, even the percentage of 35 out of that, hindi pa nila inintroduce as a subject. So, yun yung point dyan eh. So, sasabihin nila lagi sa atin, pag sa committee lalo na, they will always tell us, but we already work within, that's integrated, we're teaching that. But iba yung value ng it's an independent subject, one subject, and it's called GMRC because readily identifiable yun by the student and the parents eh. Alam ng magulang kung anong GMRC eh. So agad-agad they would know, oh, teka, kailangan, mapapaalala lahat ng tao. But I'm happy to say that, but I will also ask for confirmation at 10 a.m. this morning. They committed a month ago, 2 months ago, that it will be fully implemented this academic calendar in all schools.
Until grade 12.
Until grade 12, pero yung commitment on the GMRC is really yung key stage 1, 2, 3. And then we will ask them now about yung pag-implement nila ng ibang sa ibang kasi values education man from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are under the law integrated naman po yan sa existing subject. It doesn't have to be an independent subject. So we will find out how they've been integrating it in 7, 8, junior and senior high school.
Of course, ito po ay alinsunod sa Republic Act 11476 that also is aimed to curb bullying. Ito nga po nababanggit po ninyo na revised IRR of the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 which gave a new definition of cyberbullying, putting it on the list. What is included as a cyberbullying act? Pag sinabi po nating cyberbullying, yung pang-aasar po ba o posting you without your consent, yun po, does that fall in the range of cyberbullying acts? Because it also could be broad, right?
It what po?
Yung
It
ano
could
po
be.
ang mga posts or
Yes.
online
Tama ka,
that could be
Gretchen.
defined as cyberbullying?
My understanding po, no, when I was reading the IRR, ay meron rin dyan po yung parang yung mga parang hindi pa naman, ang unang-una, no, under the previous implementing rules, hindi kasama yung sa cyberbullying. Ang kasama lang po doon, para maliwanag sa ating mga magulang at mag-aaral, ang kasama lang dati ay yung aktual na nangyayari within the school premises, an activity or event sponsored or authorized by the school, or within the vicinity nung malapit lang sa school. So, importante po because of technology now, kasi may Viber groups, merong social media, minsan dyan talaga nangyayari yung bullying. Pagka nakauwi na, pinopost eh. So, may kahit pa paano may pagbubully doon. To your question, ano ang range niya? Based on my reading, it's everything. Anything that will affect the emotions, the thinking, the well-being of another learner is included sa cyberbullying na yan.
Actually, kung babasahin niyo po yung definition ng cyberbullying, no? It refers to all forms of bullying including online harassment carried out through the use
Yes.
of technology or any electronic means such as but not limited to texting, emailing, instant messaging, chatting, trolling, spamming, posting hurtful comments or posting of inappropriate photos and videos. Basta it doesn't sit well with the child, this could be under cyberbullying, classified under cyberbullying.
That is my understanding. They made it very expansive. Talagang sinasakop na ang lahat. Kasi sa totoo lang, hindi katulad nung, ako, nung panahon ko, wala naman technology noon, wala naman Viber. So, paglabas mo ng campus, sa totoo, when you're home, you are safe already. But now with technology, kahit na nasa bahay ka na, nasa auto ka, hindi ka pa rin, you can feel very uncomfortable with postings that the classmates may do or any other person may do. That is why it's correct to make it as expansive as possible because gusto natin talaga maging safe ma-feel na safe yung bawat kabataan.
And another thing that was given proper definition here was gender-based bullying.
Yes.
What would you say about that? I mean, and does that address the gap in the law?
What it really addresses for me is not only the because dati po talaga, Gretchen, it's really physical presence. Kailangan nandoon magkakasama kayo it's an event in your campus or your school. Pero ito, kahit wala ka na sa school, you're at your home, and then bigla na lang may mga papadalas yung messages, whether it is all forms of bullying, whether it is gender-based, whether it is based on any physical or any emotional thing, that should be included. Kasi at this point, isipin natin, 18 years and below yung bata. So especially kung grades 1 to 6, and then marunong na mag-text. I mean, of course, sa junior high school siguro mas prevalent yan. Pero again, sensitive at that point in time, talaga nahuhubog pa lang yung isip ng bata, and then yung fear nandiyan dyan. So how will love of learning happen?
Okay. Babasahin ko lang din po yung definition on gender-based bullying. It refers to any act that humiliates, excludes a person, or targets individuals based on their gender or perceived gender identity and expression. It includes acts that create an intimidating, hostile, or humiliating environment for the victim, such as unwanted sexual remarks or actions and the use of sexist, homophobic, misogynistic, or transphobic remarks, among others. So, ito po ay, syempre, alam po natin yung pang-aasar, you're not allowed to call anybody names, but how about, for example, yung the more conservative schools that have embraced more conservative policies around gender, paano po yung mga ganong masisettle?
Oh, but it is, hindi naman excuse yun, Gretchen, for you to be able to, because bullying is bullying, whether it is, I think yung pagsali nila yung gender-based bullying is really, kahit hindi nga sinama yan, that should be included, that's already included, but I guess it was put there to emphasize that is included, parang to highlight it. So whether or not you're a DepEd school, you're a religious school, there is no space, there is no reason for bullying to happen. I mean, religion cannot be made as excuse for purposes of bullying, so or intimidating, or even just discrimination. I mean, it has no place in society.
Wait, Congressman, there was conversation years back on the penalties that the violators of the Anti-Bullying Act will face according to their actions, right? Expulsion is one of them, being they're removed from the educational institution. Pero pag tinignan ko po dito yung IRR, wala po nakasulat about the penalties. So does it remain the same? Yung expulsion is still there. Kasi I remember Secretary Briones was saying na yung expulsion itself, pinag-uusapan nila kung tamang punishment ito dahil you are removing the kid from the learning institution, and effectively it does not really solve anything. It only institutionalizes the scars brought about by the bullying incident. Your thoughts on that, the penalties, and why was that not included here in the IRR? Kaya?
Yes, because there is really, because of yung factual situation natin, Gretchen, hindi lang today, but even in the past, that there is meron talaga mga nagda-drop out for various reasons. And in this case, and alam po natin, meron din po talaga dyan, baka mapagsabihan pa nung kung di ba yung iba dyan, pag hindi maganda ang grade, sa pagsasabihan pa ng mga kaibigan, huwag ka na mag-aral, mag-ano ka na lang. Lalo na kung sabihin na natin because of bullying. So, tapos alisin ng school or alisin ng DepEd, di ba, sa klase. Then talagang baka hindi na bumalik yon. There's a school of thought really saying that, yung sinasabi ni Secretary Diling, that the more important thing is reformation really happens while the child is in school. Because the moment may dropout rate rin tayo na binabantayan, ito pag kinalis mo pa. Of course, tama yan na there is still that expulsion penalty, but it must really be exercised with extreme caution. because marami siyang side effects na ayaw rin natin. Paano kung inalis mo, hindi na mag-aral yung bata? Ano mangyayari sa kanya? Saan yung reformation na mangyayari?
So the penalties,
talagang it's really very delicate talaga yung balancing, and that is why if you will notice, even the IRR was very specific in mentioning a discipline officer, which is different from a guidance counselor, because we need the guidance counselors as really a welcoming face to any learner, any student. Pag siya rin ang discipline officer, kakabahan pa ang bata, lumapit sa kanya.
Tama
And that is something that we want to avoid. That's why, if you look at that IRR, talagang may distinction between a discipline officer and yung guidance counseling.
Actually, yun nga po yung tatanong ko, no? Given that the schools already lack resources to hire guidance counselors, paano po kaya itong learner formation officer? I mean, hindi po ba dagdag trabaho lang po ito? May dagdag na office po ba? Paano po kaya ma-institutionalize yun?
Yes. Actually, Gretchen, para tama rin yung context natin. Pagdating ng issue ng guidance counselors, of course, alam natin, we operate the national budget operates on a deficit. So alam natin na mas malaki talaga yung, talagang may pangangailangan tayo. That's why we should spend the money wisely. Pero there's another fact that we must also contend with. Hindi naman, konti lang po nag-a-apply bilang guidance counselors. We've always had a shortfall of more than 3 or 4. Dati po ang items natin dyan, 5,000. Ang applicants lang dyan, less than 1,000 na talagang registered guidance counselors. Lumalampas lang yan ng 1,000, Gretchen, because may mga upskilling na mga teachers that take that role. So may kita mo, even, that's why wala tayong problema in absorb so far. And meron ngayon na dagdag na 10,000 again, di ba, na items. So we should not worry about that because we have to build pa a number of registered guidance counselor who will go to DepEd schools.
So ito pong learner formation officer, this will be specific to that role, or ito po ay kukuha lang din po sila ng teacher na maaring gumanap dito as discipline officer?
Sa ngayon, if there are no takers kasi walang aabot kung ano man yung the standards na sasabihin nila, upskilling will happen. Pero again, we should not kasi yun ang naging problema before Ang ginagawa natin, since walang takers ng guidance counselors dahil we don't have enough, nag-volunteer teachers ang gumagawa. Magaling yung volunteer teachers natin, that's not a problem, but it is a burden also to them. So dapat talaga, it's really the synergy between basic ed and higher ed. Kailangan talaga masabi lagi sa higher ed, ito ang pangangailangan namin sa aming mga basic education schools. So you can encourage yung mga estudyante na pumapasok na sa kolehiyo, these are the courses na kailangan natin. Ito yung perfect job matching.
But required na po ang lahat ng paaralan na magkaroon nitong learner formation officer? Officially?
Pagkaalam ko, yes. Pati yung discipline officer. Yes.
Oo. Iba po ba yun?
Iba yun siya, di ba? Iba siya. Yeah.
Hindi ko po sure. We have to clarify that.
Yes.
No? Kasi pero yun yung bago sa aking pandinig. Parang meron pong misminchin, ano? sa mga school. To put that in. Wait. Sige, go ahead.
Because of the number of our students, because talaga ang dami na po talaga ngayon. Sa DepEd schools lang po, napakarami na rin po. But then we lack the number of, then the challenges confronting our schools, talagang because of technology, because of progress, talagang nagmumultiply rin So, and then, di ba, about a year ago, 2 years ago, yung problema natin was really the teachers were overburdened with admin work, meaning non-teaching functions. So, nasakripisyo rin yung teaching nila sa classroom. So, these are the things that the DepEd should be keep their eye on the ball. Hindi talaga porque lang may volunteers tayo dahil wala namang iba. But really, there must be, that's why meron silang di ba? May dedicated office na rin sila up to the central office. I think they will also be trying to organize one because someone has to oversee, especially yung non-teaching functions na ginagampanan ng teachers. Kung hindi, in a few years, Ito na naman, additional problem ito na, na hindi makapagod na pagod yung teacher kasi meron siyang ginagawa na na
Correct.
hindi teaching.
There should be
para sa kanya.
admin staff. Okay, bilang huling
Yes.
katanungan po, kung dahil kayo po ay in charge po rito, no? And lahat po ng nabanggit nyo will need budget. And the education sector will get an 18% increase in the 2026 budget because of all the controversies. Mukhang madirect na po ang pera. Pero isa pong katanungan, should the DPWH be entrusted with the responsibility of building classrooms? It has been brought to light that it takes the government 2 to 3 years to build one classroom. Pero pag tumingin po tayo sa mga foundation, kayang-kaya po nila magpatayo at lesser cost at around 800,000 to 1 million pesos for 3 to 6 months. Nagagawa po nila yan compared to the 1.5 to 2 million to 3 million that it costs government or DPWH to be exact to build a classroom. So ano po ang proposition po natin pagdating po sa ganun?
Well, una, we tried it before. If you recall 2011, 2012, they tried to transfer the functions of building school buildings to the Department of Education. And nakita nyo, after 1 or 2 years, binalik nila sa DPWH. And if I recall correctly, the reason for that was sinasabi ng DepEd at that time, kaya mabagal sila sa pag-churn out ng classrooms because that is not the core that they do. I heard the proposals now that maybe dapat ibang ahensya. Tama yun.
LGU.
Maybe the key really is private. Maybe that is the key here. I mean, of course, private ngayon, but it's partnerships. Maybe they should find a way na hindi na necessarily DPWH lang. It's the bidding that's the problem. So, baka hindi dapat DPWH. Kasi private rin naman ang nananalo. So, baka mamaya hindi dapat DPWH ang nagbibidding. But, in addition to that, Gretchen, we also have a proposal on expanding the voucher system, yung GASPE, because we have existing private schools that were affected during the pandemic, meaning bumaba ang enrollment, pero nandiyan pa rin yung campus nila. Instead of making it a problem for us to paano yung bidding, sino ang gagawa, should we not just expand the GASPE and allow kung talagang crowded na yung DepEd school within a certain city, municipality, na mag-enroll na kung merong existing na private school doon. Kasi ngayon, wala tayo sa grades 1 and 6. We do not allow that. Ang pinapayagan lang natin sa voucher system is 7 to 10 and merong special voucher system for 11 to 12. Hindi ba dapat yung 1 to 6, kung saan ang bulto ng estudyante naman natin sa DepEd, ay payagan na rin natin sa mga private schools, except dapat hindi na tayo input-based. Dapat may rule na ang DepEd on outcomes-based. Meaning, kailangan kalidad naman yung paaralan. Kailangan meron tayong test. And ang proposal nga namin is test the students, establish a baseline, and then in 1 or 2 years, take another test. Basta nag-i-improve naman yung quality niya. Then we should tap the private schools. I think that is the more doable thing for now kasi andyan na existing na eh. In fact, under the bill that we passed on third and final reading last Congress, expanded e-GASPE, we also said government should start providing funds to improve the facilities of private schools. Hindi ba dapat sila yung accountable ngayon sa gobyerno on how they spend it?
Well, good suggestions there, no? Kasi we already have we already have existing classrooms. Maybe you're right.
Correct.
Maybe we just should provide financial support to the struggling private school sector and just shift the students from one end to the other. Definitely a lot of angles to look at, but thank you so much for your time today, for explaining things to us. It's good to see progress at least happen day by day. We have Pasig City Representative Romulo who chairs the Basic Education Committee. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panahon.
Thank you, Gretchen.